Hello everybody, we are the Geeks and Degenerates. I am Enzo, this is my forever co-host Jum. Today we are continuing our kaiju lineup with more, I would say, interesting kaiju-like movies, such as King Kong from 2005, Peter Jackson's King Kong, which is formerly known as. But yeah, did you watch this as a kid and were you bored to tears like I was?
No.
No?
I love this movie. Wait, what? You don't like this movie?
As a kid, I didn't like it. Now I really like it.
This movie was great. I watched it like a shit ton of times. I had like a DVD and everything.
I remember playing the game of it. I think I liked that more than the movie as a kid, I should add.
We're talking about the one on the Nokia Razor.
No, the PS2 version.
Oh, okay. Because there was a Nokia Razor like King Kong game, and it was, not gonna lie, it was pretty cool.
Okay. Yeah, I remember being taken to this in the movie theater, and I was like, I thought this was about monsters fighting. Why is it so slow? Oh my god.
Okay, I will agree. It is very slow.
Yeah.
But like, as I grew up and like recently watching it, I do like the concept of this
Yeah.
Skull Island. Like Skull Island in Kong Skull Island recently. I think
Yeah.
2018 probably.
Yeah.
It was cool, but here, in my opinion, this is Skull Island. Like whatever animal that lived in Kong Skull Island would not stand a chance in this one.
Right. But like I know if you go into this expecting like a kaiju movie or like a mainstream kaiju movie, like let's say Godzilla versus Kong or the new Godzilla and Kong movie, you'll be disappointed. But if you go into this knowing that this is essentially a remake of the 1933 version, like this is that was Peter Jackson's favorite movie, the 1933 version, and like this is like the modern version for our time, I think you'll be very pleasantly surprised of how greatly this movie's crafted. Like, and I think this comes after he did Lord of the Rings, so he essentially can do whatever he wants at this point. He decided to do this movie. That's why he also handpicked his cast so well. Even though some people say Jack Black is kind of out of the water in this one, I kind of like
I
him.
don't think so. Yeah, he's like showbiz. He's the showbiz guy. Like he'll
Yeah.
get the shot that he wants because, I guess, for the market. You know, like he's the type to like, oh, we'll get this because it'll give us a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
But he's that kind of guy, and I love it. And this is my first time being introduced to Adrian Brody.
Same here. That's why I'm always surprised, and I like being surprised when he pops up in things I like Peaky Blinders or even Predators. Even though the last moments of that movie were like, can you stop doing Arnold Schwarzenegger? I'm begging you. I don't like you. But yeah, it also has Naomi Watts as Anne, the girl who we've all seen Kong. I wouldn't say fall in love. I would say have a bond with. Because like Kong is trying to understand the world through Anne's eyes, and Anne is reciprocating this bond. I don't know. I don't know if love's the right language. Because Kong, the way he's handling her here, you're like, I don't think he's horny. I think he's just curious with the way modern society works. Well,
Maybe, probably, I don't know. Who fucking cares? It's fine.
or how you
Yeah.
know Great Depression society works for some reason. Though
Yeah.
I would say, if like the first hour of this movie, we're just building up, and Jack and Carl, you can skip all that and just go to the island an hour later. You're like, oh, finally something happened.
I agree. I forgot how fucking long you stay at New York and being like, oh, we're here are the characters that are being developed. I'm like, get your ass to the island already. Fuck.
Yeah,
But, like, cause the island is the highlight. The
Yeah.
island is a character of its own, and I love it.
yeah,
Like, when they get to the island, like and it's spooky, it's freaky.
Yeah.
Like what it reminds me of is like our first time walking into Resident Evil 4, where you see the village,
yeah,
and that's what it felt like to me. These animals were very freaky.
yeah.
No offense to any cannibals watching us.
What? If you said it about the natives, I'd be like, yeah, that's understandable. When they're like, Dory Kong, you're like, that freaked me out as a kid. I was like, what's that old woman saying?
Yeah, like they're shaking and like they got like the beads on them, and I was like,
Yeah.
and like they're like beating one of the crewmen over the head, and I was just like, this was an unnerving scene, and I loved it.
Yeah.
Like this is the hood of islands. Like you can't survive here. Like
Yeah.
oh my god, like everybody here was just like try to fight for their lives. Some escaped. Some were able to fight back, but like the girl like gets strung up, and the introduction to Kong was so
Amazing. You're like, yeah, I think this is the first time I, at least, was introduced to this perspective of like, you're looking up at Kong. You're like, Jesus Christ, it's a huge monkey. Holy fuck.
Yeah.
And like,
It's like her, yeah.
everybody's reaction, like the moment they hear his roar to the moment Jack Black sees him, they're just like, what the fuck is that thing? Holy fuck. Thing's huge.
Yeah, like. And by the way, the cannibals, that part was so intense and it was so traumatizing for me as a child. I was like, holy shit, I really hope it doesn't get worse from here. I was level 1. Like, I gotta give credit to Kong Skull Island because they're the ones who kind of made me scared of bugs.
Right? Oh god. But
I guess we'll get there when we get there.
I do love the fact that Andy Serkis has two roles, one being that cook in the ship, and the second one is Kong, because he
Kong
does, yeah. Like, I also love the fact that Kong here is not like human-like, like the later versions of Kong. He's like very wild, very primitive. He's essentially just a big, humongous gorilla, yeah. And Andy Serkis just doing the movements of actual gorillas. Like, he actually studied gorillas in Rwanda to perfect this, and you're like, this man is so dedicated to the craft. It's amazing how he has never won an award for motion capture. Like, why? How is that possible? He's Kong, he's Caesar, he's Gollum, and he's never won anything. You're like, why? Don't understand this.
I don't understand either, and I feel like us and Andy Serkis are kind of robbed of that. But yeah, Andy Serkis did a great job. Not gonna lie, he was a little unrecognizable, being like the Popeye the Sailor Man character on the ship.
Yeah, I do love the scene when like Kong keeps pushing for Naomi Watch, and to Kong it's just friendly, but to Naomi Watch it's like, stop pushing me, I'm begging you, stop it. Then Kong just goes, just walks away. You're like, okay, sure.
I love that. Like, it's a little bit of a bond of like, I will say it is kind of like pet and owner kind of a deal.
Yeah.
I guess you creeps can imagine however this relationship goes, but like, yeah.
I don't. The one complaint I do have is that stampede scene with the dinosaurs, the long necks. It's a little too rubbery for me. They're like, it's like they're balloons bouncing off each other. It's not the best. Like,
yeah. Also, as a kid, that traumatized me of stampedes as well. But yeah, I see what you mean though. Like them bumping into each other, and it was such an enclosed space.
yeah,
And for sure, at the time, VFX wasn't really the creme de la creme, even though this movie does look amazing.
yeah,
But I guess this scene was a little too much since there was so much going on
yeah,
in one shot, where main characters are running in between the legs of like these, I don't know, brontosauruses, and trying not to get trampled, and all these brontosauruses are knocking into each other. It was a bit weird.
yeah.
And like you even have these, I don't know if you could call them velociraptors, but these like
Raptors in general.
raptor-esque
Yeah,
animals chasing them.
yeah.
So it was a bit, for sure, it was a hell of a hard time for the VFX team to like been able to pull that off.
Yeah, that being said, like, to this day, the CGI still holds up, which is incredible. Which is, again, a sad testament to modern CGI. The fact that a movie from 2005 looks so much better than a movie from 2023. You're like, what the fuck is happening? I've seen those memes of like comparing CGI in the early 2000s to like from like Kong '05 to like Davy Jones to now like the weird CGI in Ant-Man and the Wasp 3 and the weird CGI third eye of Doctor Strange. You're like, yeah, I think we're going backwards. I really do.
I want to know who are the people who worked on and what hardware did they use like back in the day? Because like, can you just bring that back? Because I'm starting to think less is more.
Yeah,
I think they're trying to do a little too much with like new CGI.
yeah,
I don't know. I'm not a VFX artist, so don't quote me.
yeah. Of course, there are examples of modern good CGI movies with great effects, like again, the new Planet of the Apes and Dune Part Two with the sandworm. You're like, those are great effects. But
And
like,
Godzilla minus.
and Godzilla minus one, yeah, and yeah, less is more. As you said, this coming from a movie where King Kong fights three T-Rexes, and you're like, wow, the faces are still so real. I feel like he really is wrestling two beefy T-Rexes, even though they look kind of so yeah three. Even though the Rexes kind of look roided up, you're like, what the fuck happened to you? That's
I
weird.
love it though. Dude, I loved all the animals in this world. Like, remember that thing that like was chasing the girl,
Oh yeah,
and and like the fucking sorry, like the centipede like crawls up her neck,
yeah,
and then this thing was like trying to get her from the log, and then it gets pulled out by the T-Rex.
yeah.
And I was just like, this shit was so intense. Like her sneaking around trying to make sure the T-Rex don't see her, and then so like of course she fucks up.
Yeah,
And then Kong comes in to the rescue, and I love the gymnastics that this Kong does
yeah,
to hold off three T-Rexes, where like it's even using its feet to hold its mouth up, like open,
yeah,
to make sure it doesn't get bit. Like this shit was sick.
yeah. And the last shot, the last fight where Kong just rips open his jaw and cracks it sideways. Like, holy fuck! I think before that he bites off its tongue too. Like, poor T-Rex, man. What did it ever do to you? Aside from trying to eat Anne.
Yeah, and like he plays around with it like a monkey. I was like, oh, there it is.
Yeah. And like,
And then he like tries to like dress his wounds, and then like he's still a little pissy with the girl, but it was like, I still like you, but I'm mad at you. You know?
right? And like this scene, like for all the great CGI effects, like the one really great CGI effect, which is down in the canyon, is the one that still gives me the creeps to this day. Was where they're all trapped in a giant the canyon with the bugs. You're like, for fuck's sake.
Dude, I had so many nightmares, and I still do, of this scene, and kind of one of the reasons why I was like, I don't really want to watch this scene. But like, yeah, at the start, it's like Andy Serkis like gets eaten up
Yeah,
by like these leeches. That was fine. I don't mind leeches. But once like things start coming out of the woodworks, and I'm like, those things got legs.
right.
Those things got too many legs. And then you see like the fucking grasshopper that's like a size of a fucking Labrador. I was like, huh?
And he's asking the guy like, please, please shoot straight. You're like, how? You keep moving. I can't blame you though.
Yeah. Dude, not gonna lie, if I was Adrian Brody, I would have been like, shoot me!
Like, I don't know what's worse, being shot or being eaten face first. Like, I'd rather die, please. Please end me.
I hated it when like it started like nibbling at the back of its neck. I was like,
Right? And then
Yeah.
poor Andy Serkis is eaten alive while he's still waiting. You're like, that's something I'm gonna see to the end of my days. Shit.
yeah.
Even when the crew come in and kill the bugs, like, they kill one bug and you see a giant thing just fall. You're like, thank God I didn't see that thing alive. Holy fuck.
Yeah. And like, there's like, sure, they get rescued, but they're like trying to get up like this, like, right, they fall from a bridge, right?
Yeah.
And some people were like rappelling back down.
Yeah.
You see one of them just gets snatched up and just taken in. I was like, what was that?
Right? You're like, no, thank you. And then the captain's like, you have to climb. I'd be like, I don't want to climb. I really don't.
Not gonna lie, and I would have just been like,
Like, you know what? I have had enough of a adventure for the rest of my life. I'm gonna stay here and just get eaten quickly, hopefully.
yeah.
And then, yeah, after that they capture Kong and bring him to New York. I don't know how a pre-World War II ship of that size brings a massive ape across the ocean, but it's like, oh well.
Also, yeah. Also, like, how many like floors did y'all like take with you to make sure this thing was passed out until it got to New York? Because I don't know where the fuck Skull Island is, but all I know is that going from point A to point B using a ship was like 2 months,
Right?
and that's on schedule.
Right? And you're like, where did you port? Did you just not just keep going until you reach New York again, or did you take breaks and be like, don't mind the giant ape? By the way, we have more chloroform because we are rounding out and we don't want to die, please.
Yeah.
It's like like if you've seen the original version, it kind of plays out how it is. Like, poor Kong is just strung up of like, there's no point to my life. I'm just sad forever, and then he sees Fake and he's like, you're not the woman that I'm so.
I love the look that he gives to. He was like, "Eh, ugh."
Right? He's like, yuck. I am disgusted. And then he starts picking up every blonde person in New York, and he's like, no,
Yeah.
no, thank you, yuck. And I'm like, are you not? You're just killing random blonde people. Okay.
Nah, but like, yeah, like, and he finally meets up with Anne, and like they have like this whole nice bonding moment where they like doing like an ice skating thing.
Yeah. And then Kong gets hit with a shell. You're like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, like, hey, yeah, I love the scene where like the entire army comes on.
Yeah.
There's planes. There's like all that shit that was represented in Chicken Little. Yeah, it happened.
Yeah.
Though
the only thing I was thinking of when he's like trying to avoid the army, if I was thinking like if this was the Monarch Godzilla King Kong, he'll just kill all of you. To be honest.
Holy dude, the helicopter scene in like Kong Skull Island, I was like, okay, like like I'm sorry, that Kong would beat this Kong any day.
Right? He's like, you little bitch, stop dying, please.
Yeah. Like New York would have been in so much trouble,
right?
If Kong Skull Island's Kong was in New York.
Right? They're like, holy fuck, we're not gonna survive this. But yeah, it plays out the way you know how it plays out. Like, poor Kong is surrounded by World War I airplanes and he's getting shot. And even you're like, can you just leave the monkey alone? He just wants to live peacefully. I know he's causing destruction, but he doesn't know any better. And you feel for Kong. You're like, oh god, do you have to kill him? Can you just let him go in a zoo with a big open space? Just let him be with Anne, and then just visit him. I don't know.
Or just bring him back to Skull Island, Jesus.
Or that.
But does that have to be an option? But yeah, like, yeah. If you all know the tale of Kong, he pretty much dies.
Yeah.
And it was beauty that killed the beast.
Yeah, and you're like, sure. But it was also the lead. But okay.
Alright, and the fall.
Yeah, that too. But yeah, this is a very unique movie. Again, it's the King Kong, the classic tale of King Kong for our time, and it holds up. It really does. Like, even though the Brontosaurus scenes, you're like, that's kind of too over the top. Like, the rest of the CGI, you're like, wow, that really holds up. I will take this any day over another MCU MODOK ever again, because Jesus Christ, that is hilariously bad.
It was horrible.
Yeah. Also forgot to mention the assistant that Jack Black keeps saying, like, yeah, we'll give the donations to their wife and kids. That's Colin Hanks. That's Tom Hanks' son.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised he doesn't have a lot of movies under his belt, which is, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. I guess it's kind of a good thing because it's not like he's like, I'm Tom Hanks' son. I get to do whatever I want. He's like, I'll just pick whatever opportunities come my way.
Yeah, and like he's just very chill about it, and I guess that's kind of like what I expect from Tom Hanks' like son.
Yeah.
He's just like very chill about the world. For sure, his dad was a very great example on like how to live life. Yeah, Tom Hanks is a treasure, not just in America.
Yeah, it's an international, universal treasure. But yeah, it's not all about Tom Hanks. But do you have anything to add to Kong 05?
No, I think we sang enough praises.
Yeah. What would you rate King Kong from 2005?
I would rate King Kong, as much as I loved it and as much of a staple it was in my childhood, I would give it a 7 out of 10.
Okay.
It has great CGI. It has amazing CGI. Sure, the Brontosaurus scene a little bit iffy. The characters, in my opinion, they were great actors. They played their roles very well. I will say you're very right. Like the hour-long introduction into the characters was a little too long,
Yeah.
and I was starting to fall asleep. But as soon as we got to the island, it was just a roller coaster ride of trauma and fear and gigantic bugs, and I loved all of it. And like, I would say, yeah, Kong Skull Island's version of Skull Island is very creative.
Yeah.
I love the universe that it is in. But this is the one where I'm like, it's dingy, it's disgusting, and like, I don't ever want to live here. It seems kind of nice to have like a little cottage, just stay away from the giant animals. But like here, it's like you're nowhere. There's cannibals here, there, everywhere, and then there's bugs, and then there's a giant monkey. And if you're cute, it might spare you. You know. And there's T-Rexes and gigantic dinosaurs. I'm like, okay.
You remember when
live...
Anne was crawling away from Kong trying to escape, and then she disturbs the nest of a spider, just goes. You're like, what the fuck is that thing? No, please.
Sorry, not a fan.
Yeah.
Not a fan. But yeah, everything is just a nightmare there, and I feel like that's what Skull Island was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Where you're not supposed to stay comfortable. And yeah, the ending, you kind of saw it. If you've seen the old, King Kong, you kind of know the end already. And it's nice. Other than that, yeah, it's a 7 out of 10. It's a good watch. Great movie from Peter Jackson, and I love it. Yeah. If you want to watch a Kong movie that's not within the Monarch franchise,
Yeah.
this is a good one. Not bad. Just skip the character development part.
Yeah. You get filled in anyway by the time you reach the island. You're like, okay, I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll also give this a 7. It's a good movie. Great CGI, good characters, and overall good story. Like if you have never seen the black and white 30s version, I think this is a good introduction to that. And I think they handled Kong very well. I think the score is also pretty good, and the visuals are pretty beautiful too. And it's a very great movie, and you expect nothing less from the guy who directed the Lord of the Rings trilogy. But yeah, everything still holds up to this day, which is very, very satisfying to be like, yeah, the thing from my childhood, it's not, hasn't aged horribly. Even though I didn't really appreciate it as a kid, now I do. I'm like, yeah, it's a very unique kaiju-esque movie. But do you have anything to add to Kong 05 before we wrap this up?
No. I think it's pretty much it.
Alright. But yeah, that's been a review for King Kong 2005. What's your favorite King Kong movie? Whether it's the original, or this version, or the Skull Island version. But yeah, that's been it for now. If you like our videos, please leave us a like, subscribe, and ding the bell icon to get notified of when we upload next. We're also on Spotify and TikTok to see our best and funniest moments, and Spotify to hear us on the... Sorry, I ran out of breath for some reason. I am Zoda's Voices in the video on TikTok, and Ends Wolf on Letterboxd. Where can they find you?
Oh, you can find me at JohnJM_ on Instagram. It is my account.
And until the next time, we'll see you then. Bye, everybody.